I have a question about Brayden's rapping. Like, does he rap around the house?
You want him to do a little freestyle? He'll do it.
I will do freestyles.
Give him 3 words. Give him 3 words now, random ones. Give him a beat. He's got this. It's crazy.
I'll do the beat. I'll do the beat, and I'm gonna give you.
You can beatbox.
I'm gonna beatbox.
He's decent.
Oh my god.
Okay, so we're gonna go. Love, woman, kill.
Dear Shandy. Welcome back to Dear Shandy, listeners. Hello, Andy.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm very excited.
Very excited. It's our first Love Fest of 2024, and we were holding out for the big guns.
We were.
And we're very excited about this particular couple, partly because they're newly engaged, freshly engaged, and they're just so adorable together in all the ways, but also because we've been rooting for each of these people separately, like since way back when they were on their
Brayden has been one of my main men. I've had only 3 men, Brayden.
Yes.
You are one of them in my whole life.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll take it.
Okay, so I'll give a little refresher, not that anyone needs one. So Brayden is from Bachelorette season 20 and BIP season 9, and you can find him on Instagram at Brayden Bowers Official, because presumably there are not official Brayden Bowers out there.
Shame on me.
There's a couple of them.
And his better half, Christina Mandrell, you know her from Bachelor season 27, and she can be found on Instagram at Christina Mandrell. No official necessary.
Not so official. Not so official. Hi, thanks for having us. We're so excited. And also we're fans. So separately, he let me know that you guys reached out, and I'm like, wait, I love them. And so really cool. And yeah, you guys have really had my back in kind of a really cool medium kind of way. Like, you know, like you're just telling it how it is. And I respect that. So
you guys are super objective. And I was like, when I saw you guys reach out to me, I was like, this is awesome. Cause it's, you know, it's not it was just, I don't know. I really appreciated you guys' opinions.
Yeah, it's just like your actual opinions. When
I'm delighted in this butter.
Yeah, yes.
This is great.
We're just melted butter on the floor right now.
You know, just to send the butter back, I will say this. Once in a while on this franchise, a star is born. And in this situation, 2 stars were born and they collided.
Yes.
And I'm very pleased about this union.
Yes, this union, it was, I forget where we were when we heard the news that you two had started dating, but needless
where were you when you heard the news?
Yeah, I just remember I was like, Andy, and I reported to him. And we were like, that works. Mm-hmm. We had a moment where we were like, I can totally see this. So we're just so excited today to delve into your relationship and your relationship dynamics.
That. Of course. Yeah, no, that's kind of collectively been the feedback, whether, you know, there are people that hated us or not. They're just kind of like, well, yeah, that really makes sense. They can go be with each other over there. I don't want to hear about it, but like, that's going to work actually. So, yeah.
Well, so on that topic, when you just mentioned people, you know, potentially hating you, which I have a feeling is not the case, but isn't it amazing how people have such strong opinions based on
such strong opinions?
It's incredible. I want to know if that was something that maybe you bonded over, the strong opinions.
Absolutely. So we were both kind of, I mean, if you want to call it, we were labeled villains of our season. And I mean, for me, he just recently actually watched me on the show. So he hadn't actually seen it, but me watching him on Charities.
I watched it like last week, first time.
I was like, so do you still like me? Because it's too late now. But no, so absolutely. So me watching him, I could see it, like I could see exactly so many similarities. I think we definitely responded differently to as far as while we were filming, like as our castmates, like we're not loving us. We definitely responded differently. So I think that's where it kind of the fork in the road of where our edits or our times on there kind of differentiated. But at the beginning, absolutely, it was, I could see myself in you.
And for me, and honestly, for me too, it's like, I think one of the biggest things I really respected is how she handled all the feedback. So it's like, when I experienced what I experienced on the season, I didn't really try to fight the edit. So there's a lot of people that go through the season and they'll be like, oh, I got edited this way and this is all not true. It's missing all this. And for me, I just accepted what was. I wasn't going to try to fight it. I mean, if people were going to believe whatever they wanted to believe, like I can't control that. And so looking back at her season and looking at like the comments that people are making about her is it's like she had that same thing, is that she's like, I know who I am. I don't need to stand here and try to defend myself because I'm confident in who I am. And I found that super attractive about her. And I was like, this is amazing. Like, this woman she's sure of herself to where she doesn't need to try to like argue with people about who she really is. She knows who she is. And so I think that was one thing that made me like, I was like, dang, this girl's amazing.
That's right. They're wound mates. We were talking about that.
Yeah, we've been
absolutely.
Soulmates. How soulmates isn't really a thing. It's really about wound mates.
Yeah.
You guys are Bachelor.
You said wound?
Not womb. Not womb.
I hope you're not roommates. That would be weird.
I was like, I mean, I know I'm moving to Tennessee, but
get him a DNA, like I mean, not sponsored, but the 23andMe test, because I have that one, and I'm like, we gotta make sure we're not related, right? I think is how that works.
Is that how it goes in Tennessee?
To you and,
I mean, I guess I'm from California and normally don't worry about that kind of thing, but here in the South, it's a different story.
Oh man, I'm gonna hold my tongue.
And speaking of which, Brayden, you're part Asian, right? I just have to ask.
I am, yeah.
I don't have to ask. I just like to ask.
My grandfather's Indonesian.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So he was actually an immigrant from Indonesia. Moved to America when he was 14, and then married my Oma.
He's writing a book right now.
He is writing a book on his life. We'll see how that goes, but
that's amazing.
He's had a pretty crazy life. So
I mean, please let us know when it drops.
Okay.
I will.
Okay, well, today is about your relationship dynamic, how you work, what makes you tick. And normally we start at the beginning with how you met, but I've noticed that this has been covered in the media. I understand, Christina.
Recently.
Yeah, you slid into Brayden's DMs, correct?
Yeah. Long story short, it was after he had got done filming with Paradise, but not way before it had aired. And I DM'd him, or I commented on a message. He then, after some time, he only liked the comment, by the way. He didn't immediately respond back to it, which is, I'm over it. No, but then he waited and strategically DM'd me and responded. Well, strategically because it was Blakely, my daughter, she's 7. So it was a video of her on my story. So, which I really appreciated, because he was waiting until it wasn't like, a picture of me working out or in a bikini or something. It was like, hey, I'm acknowledging that you have a child and I'm okay with it. And then let's chat. Then I had tickets to a concert, Tenacious D, and it was like less than a week away. And I was like, well, if you're serious, then why don't you come out here? And so it really kind of took off. It was like right away. So it was really cool.
So yeah, that's kind of the start. And then we did all that, and then boat sank, and then ended up asking to be my girlfriend. Months went by. We had our launch on Paradise, and then the month following that, we got engaged. So here we are.
You can tell they've told this story before.
Yeah. Both sang.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't even we've been asked how we met so many times that when we started this podcast, that was our first episode, was how we met, and we aren't even famous, so I can't even imagine how many times you've told that story.
We did have
You're
the
famous.
same.
You're famous. First of all,
we had the same amount of time from meeting to engagement without a boat sinking, though.
Yeah,
we didn't have the boat sinking.
Yeah.
Wait, really?
See,
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
you know, like that's the thing.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like we shouldn't really be like letting time hold us back with stuff. Like why let time hold you back from happiness? You know what I'm saying?
100%. I actually waited till just the amount of time I thought it would take for her family not to think I was a psychopath.
Hey, that's ingenious. That should be the new one.
strategic as well. So it's good.
Yeah, around 5 months, right?
Yeah, I was like, this is enough. They'll be like, it's a little weird, but
That's exactly where
We
we
can
were.
live with
No,
this.
it's 5 months.
yeah.
Yeah, because we're just hitting 6 like right now.
I think we're hitting 7.
I just got my hair colored more blonde. I don't know the math.
It's one haircut.
We'll fight about that later.
Okay, yeah.
It's a good sign when you aren't even sure. We've decided.
That's true.
So
Feels like 5 years. No, I'm just kidding.
Question for you, Brayden. Did the boat sink incident have a accelerating effect on what you wanted to do in your life?
Yeah, 100%. I don't know. For a minute there, I was just kind of going with the flow. I was taking it slow. I wasn't going to rush anything. Especially with her, like I didn't want to rush anything. And I was like, oh, it'll happen if it's meant to happen. And I remember like I'd been praying about it. Like I grew up Christian, and I still talk to God. And I was like, in the beginning of that year, I remember praying and just asking God, like, hey, like I really want someone. I want a partner. And like, if Like, if it's meant for me to be, like, please show me where I'm supposed to go and how it's supposed to happen. And it was just like, I feel like the way it all lined up is it was like, hey, like, this is the one. The way I felt in that moment, like the fact that even happened to me, the fact that I came out of it, it was like my come to Jesus moment. And I was like, okay, yeah, like I think this is the one. I know this is the one. So
yeah, well, you came very close to Jesus. I mean,
I did.
It's really uncomfortably close.
It was, it was for 3.5 hours. I felt, it's just like when you accept death for 3.5 hours, your mind goes to some crazy places, which is,
that's wild.
Which is
and you really did think you were going to die.
Yeah. Like there was, I can't even explain, I can't explain how helpless I felt in that moment. And I can't explain how, like, you look around and there's nobody, there's nothing. And you have your buddies with you. One of them's freezing and shivering, and you're like, he's gonna die of hypothermia. Your other one is panicking. It's like, you're like, oh shoot, like, he's gonna drown. Like, it's just like in your head, you just have this, you start thinking about how people are gonna start going down. And like, that's kind of where your mind goes. And you crack jokes, and on the surface level, you are staying calm. And on the surface level, you keep it light, but deep down, you're like, hey, like, people are going to start dropping, and this is how they're going to start dropping. And then I was wrong, thank God. And God showed me that, hey, we think something's going to go one way and it goes another. And sure enough, we got saved. And by the grace of God, I'm here today. And I got to ask this woman to be my girlfriend, and now my wife. So I'm excited.
That's amazing. I have to ask another question. Was there any time when you were in that water to not think about just surviving and to think about things like, this is what I'm going to do if I get out of this, or this is what I wish I had done now that I'm in this?
These are good new questions.
Yeah. A lot of the time I was in there.
I can't believe it.
A lot of the time I was in there, I felt like my life was flashing before my eyes. And a lot of it was just really being grateful for everything that I've gotten to experience up to this point. Just realizing that I have a really blessed life. And one of the thoughts I actually had was oftentimes, like, people were like the way that I ended up being on The Bachelorette and The Bachelor in Paradise was really weird. And people kept coming up to me and they're like, oh, you're meant to do big things. It's just like stuff like this doesn't just happen to people. And, you're meant to do big things. And in that moment when I was sitting there, and I was like, I had this realization that life is just a big thing. And I feel like sometimes we keep telling ourselves we need to do more, but we need to do more. But like, I had this realization that the day-to-day that I got to live and just the simple things that I got to experience, like, those were the big things that I was meant to do. And I was so blessed to have the experience to do those. So it was really just a gratefulness that I got to live. Like, the only thing that really was going through my head that I regretted not doing was telling her that I loved her. Like, and it was like, that was the biggest thing is I just couldn't stop thinking about it. Cause I had sent her like an edible arrangement earlier that day. I was like, I had sent her like,
oh my God, if that was the last thing you ever did.
Well, actually,
if that was the last thing you ever did, an edible arrangement, and then you die. You sent the woman you meant to say I love you to an edible arrangement, and then you die.
Okay, Andy has a thing against edible arrangements. We have to get this out of the way.
This is your first strike. This is your first strike, Brayden.
Wait, it wouldn't have been the last thing.
You're gonna get even more mad.
No, I think you're gonna be better now.
Oh, maybe I might be better.
Tell him.
I actually also sent something else earlier that day that got delivered a few days later. And
so imagine things did no different.
I died. Imagine I died on the boat. She had the edible arrangement that day. She's like, oh, he sent me an edible arrangement for parent teacher conference. That's so sweet. And 3 days later, doorbell rings and she opens it up and she has a box from me. And the box says, so you never have to pee in traffic again. And it's a female urinal.
The funnel thing, because
a portable female urinal.
TMI. I had been in traffic and I could not hold it. There was literally nothing I could do. And I was just like, I peed in my Stanley cup driving, and I felt like I needed to tell somebody, and I didn't need to keep that secret just to myself. So I told him, and I'm just like, I did this. And he just thought it was hilarious and immediately bought this thing and sent it to me as a surprise.
Okay. Totally redeemed. But now I'm picturing this amazingly tragic comic scene where Brayden has died, and you're on your doorstep in a ball crying with
and
a travel urinal.
No one knows we're together. I'd be catching my tears. That's what it's for at this point. But I'm just like, how do I even process that this, like, I can't, like, no one knows we're together. And I mean,
Oh, wow.
I don't know. This is going to make you look like a creep if I tell anybody, but it wasn't. It was super sweet.
Oh, I think
but,
that's
like,
a super sweet
So
gift.
are you kidding?
It
That's the
is.
greatest thing
I
I've
think
ever
it's
heard.
I know you
adorable.
guys get
Would you
it, but
not
some
like
people would
that?
be like, what?
Honestly, it's almost better if I would have died. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, I mean, comedically, you
No.
missed out on a major
I'm
turn.
curious too, and something that we haven't really talked about, like, that was before Paradise had even aired and stuff. Like, would they have just like gone about it normally? It's so
Oh, yeah.
interesting to think about.
Oh,
wow, yeah.
that is interesting to think about.
And Aaron S.
That'd been
was
a
on
weird
the team.
season.
There would have been a
Yeah.
lot of messages with black background.
Well, or would have just been all normal, and then at the end, it's like in memory of or something. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, ooh.
Okay.
And then at the
okay.
end,
right.
instead of
we're
our
doing-
announcement, it's
Sorry.
just you with the pee urinal.
I'm alive, okay? Babe, I'm alive.
Okay,
I love
she's-
how in detail she's going into that scenario.
Yeah, I do what, just to close, I do believe in the multi-worlds theory, which is basically that everything you
Oh,
do
yeah.
branches off into other things. So there is unfortunately a universe where you are in a fetal position crying over that travel urinal cup.
Oh well, I'd send an edible arrangement to her.
Oh. I don't know if we've ever told this. We haven't. But during COVID, like peak COVID, Andy wouldn't let me go to the bathroom in like public restrooms. And we were taking a drive upstate. And so he got me a little funnel to pee into a water bottle, and I did.
Okay,
end
so
up
you
using
get it.
Yeah,
Okay,
but it
so
wasn't
you
even.
get it.
But it was sadder. Like it sounds like you had an actual female urinal. I was just stuck using like a
No,
little funnel.
No, it's a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
funnel. We're making it.
You
sound
haven't earned a
fancier than it
female
is.
urinal yet. All you get is a funnel.
I think we're talking about the same thing.
Wait, did you get her like a funnel from like a car shop or like a...
Oh, it was just, yeah, it was the kind of funnel you put like your oil in. It was
Yeah.
just like, I got her, she already had the water bottle. She didn't need a whole contraption.
She's like, she doesn't need that.
That's
Okay,
amazing.
that's
It's a
awesome.
wide mouth for feminine touch. Yeah. I just go straight in the Gatorade
Yeah.
bottle on the plane
It's
during the
definitely
pandemic.
my-
Anyway,
a high
Good
point.
taste hardware.
So, Charlene, you ever go to a restaurant where there's like 5 or 6 different cuisines?
That's always a red flag to
It's
me.
always a red flag.
Yeah.
There's no restaurant that has more than 2 cuisines that's ever good.
Completely agree, and already 2 is pushing it.
Yes. But I go to sleep in my Cozy Earth sheets. I lay on my Cozy Earth pillow. I wake up and slip on my Cozy Earth pants. I go down to wash my face and dry it with my Cozy Earth towel. And I say to myself, where do they miss?
They don't.
They don't. They have all the cuisines and every single one is delectable.
There's real attention to detail over at Cozy Earth, I've got to say, because every single time we try a new product of theirs, and it really is true, like in addition to the things you just said, we also have their cuddle blanket, which we also love. It's the most luxurious blanket I have ever swaddled myself in. You would
Nothing
agree with
comes
this.
close.
Yeah.
I feel, it feels almost, I feel uncomfortable. It's too sensuous. It makes me explore feelings that I'm not really in touch with.
And so it makes sense if we love so many Cozy Earth products that Oprah also, like it makes sense that if we like it, Oprah would like it. Actually, Oprah's tough to please.
I mean, she has to be. She's Oprah. She can't just say, I like this, and she doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Not only can Oprah not say that, she has to make sure that other people like it too. Maybe Oprah has some specific taste that's a little weird.
Yeah.
She has to be like, okay, I like this, but does everyone else I know like it? Okay, everyone else I know likes it, then I like it now.
Yeah. Okay.
So basically, Oprah's just following other people. And I have to repeat, I do not sweat in bed anymore.
Yes.
And I owe this all to Cozy Earth.
Yes.
Like I feel a great debt to Cozy Earth because, it may sound funny, but it's not funny. It's not funny to sweat in bed. It's not funny to wake up cold and clammy.
No.
one likes to feel water dripping from various places on their body during the middle of the night.
And no one wants to sleep next to that person.
That's also true.
Cozy Earth's viscose from bamboo sheets are naturally temperature regulating and breathable. So somehow they keep you cool when you're hot and they keep you warm when you're cool. It's just perfect.
So if you've never tried Cozy Earth, we've got great news. Right now, you can save up to 35%.
But hurry, this offer will not last. Go to cozyearth.com/Shandy and enter promo code Shandy at checkout to save up to 35%. cozyearth.com/Shandy. What about first impressions? Like, Christina, I assume you weren't DMing like every guy. Like we
No.
also can see, like, of course we can see why you would DM Brayden, but we want to hear you verbalize your first impression. You see him and you're like, I want to get to know him.
I had kind of heard, well, yeah, I guess I had heard stuff like, because I have friends that were in Paradise. So, I mean, I knew he wasn't with
A bad guy.
anyone. So
Yeah.
right. So I knew from Paradise that he didn't leave with anyone. So then there was that. But there were moments in the season with like Charity that just like made me really like, he stood out to me for not only just like the edit and the whole villain thing, but even just like what you were just saying a second ago, like the every, like the day to day and just like the contentness. Like that was something that we bonded over on one of our first phone calls. I'd started journaling and I wrote this big long thing on, you know, just kind of, before, if you would have asked me what is like the goal of life, like what are you searching for? And it would have been happiness. And then I kind of a few months later, I wrote about it again. I'm like, I don't think I'd agree with that anymore. I think it's more about being content. So like, if you think happiness is like the level where you're going to be or what you're aiming for, then you're going to miss out on a lot of things, because I'm grateful. I'm grateful to have a job. I'm grateful to have, you know, my life and of course my daughter and everything. But there are moments where you're just like not happy by definition. And I feel like I personally have was having a lot of guilt from just not being happy and just being, you know, feeling more even content or just neutral. And that would kind of it wasn't the vibe. And so I think that when I saw, it wasn't even until after I had read you the content thing that I
saw the episode.
That I saw the episode of they were like in the foraging. Which is hilarious.
I was about to bring up that episode because
that episode's amazing. But
Yeah.
so what happened is I was like, now that we had started messaging and talking and stuff, I was like redoing my homework and like watching actual like with intent of like knowing and like supporting you and whatnot. And so I was watching, and then I remember you called me and I was like, this is embarrassing. Look. And it was like one of the moments where the cute little Girl Scouts were on the screen. And then I just stopped watching the episode. And it wasn't until like kind of recently that I was showing a friend and then I watched the rest of it, where it was like, what are you searching for at the end of this? And he had said like content. And I'm like, if it would have been me and you had said that, I would have just been like, okay, like that's like mic drop. That made my heart just like,
wow.
I remember watching that episode or that scene in that episode. I mean, there were so many Brayden moments that enraged us.
the radishes.
Yeah, well, just like the reaction to Brayden that just drove us absolutely bonkers. But one of them was that it's like, that is absolutely what you should want. And it's actually a very mature thing to want, is contentment at the end of this, regardless of what happens. But because he didn't like say like proposal.
Yeah, you absolute piece of shit, Brayden. How dare you?
It's just like that's, you know, the show. I really obviously do believe in the process and it working and everything, but that's, you know, not everyone's not going to be your person, but right there, that would have really just stood out to me in the best kind of way.
Yeah. No.
So,
and it was so funny when that happened too. I remember how frustrated I was at that date, because it was like, I was reading everyone's and they're like, oh, to get down on one knee, to be happy, to be with you. And I'm just like, are these real? Like, have we thought about these answers, or are we just like throwing out fluff? And I'm like, this is just like, let's actually, like, if we're actually putting our hearts out there, let's actually put some thought into it and put some feeling into it. And for me, like, to be content is just the biggest thing I'd want. I mean,
that seemed more vulnerable in my opinion.
I don't know. Cause it's not the most complimenting thing. Mm-hmm. Like if someone tells you that they want to be content with you, it's like, I mean, you could take it a very wrong way, but if you understood what I was actually saying in that moment, it's like,
good.
I want to feel as though I don't need anything else. Like, and I want to feel like I don't have angst. I just feel like perfect when I'm with you. It doesn't need to be more. It doesn't need to be less. I just feel good. And
it doesn't need to be a special moment. We can be doing the dishes together, and that's content.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's like, and that's what I was trying to say, is it's like, that's what I wanted through the whole process. And I mean, honestly, like I got it through this whole process. I mean, it took a little while. I had to wait a little bit, but it's like, now I'm here and it's like, it feels really amazing.
You went off script a lot in The Bachelor, if you want to call it that. Let's just
he hadn't previously watched.
But that's great. I could tell.
It's obvious.
I could tell from the very beginning. But you went off script a lot, but you also were real, and being real on the show, too real, is often punished. Mm-hmm. The one thing I thought you did, the one thing that I could critique your whole season was when you told everybody you kissed her, right? So that was the one time, the one foul, and it was cute. It was a cute foul.
Well, and that wasn't even to everybody. That was like the people he happened to be talking to at the bar.
But even that was a reaction that everyone would have wanted.
Sorry, we're turning this Love Fest into a recap.
Usually we don't talk about the show.
I love it.
I mean, I gotta tell you though, like, the guys, they asked, like,
you gotta,
No, when I say foul, This is cute. It was adorable. Like how little of foul this was. And from there on, it was just clean. But
And I was, the way that Charity received it too was exactly like, like that was like a mic drop in my opinion. That was really setting the tone for the season. Cause she's like, look, I get that all this, that, but guess what? Why wouldn't he say that we had a good time? I'm like, yeah, that's my girl.
Well, so I want to know then today, your dynamic, everyone says, oh, it works. You guys are like, yeah, it works. I think to anyone watching it, anyone glances at one reel on Instagram and it's like, okay, they work. But I want you to put into words how and why you complement each other.
I would say that I think it's as if we have a competition to outserve each other. So like, I think that was one of the most beautiful ways that like, one of my buddies like said that you should really pursue relationships is you should find someone where you guys want to be in constant competition to outserve each other and to like help the other person. And I feel like that's what we do. It's like there'll be days when I'm exhausted and I'm like can't get out of bed and I'm sleeping because I'm tired, and she goes and she covers down and gets breakfast and it like takes care of the things that need to be done and is a help to me and considerate of me. And then on the days that she's off and she needs the help, it's like I'll cover down and I'll do that extra percentage. And it's like
team.
It's that constant back and forth of like we're a team and we're doing this together. And if you're having an off day, I'm going to help out. And if you're having a good day, and if I'm having an off day, you're going to help out. And so I think it's just that seeing ourselves as a team and really wanting to help the other person to help both.
Yeah, I want to lift you up and you want to lift me up naturally, like without keeping score of I did this, you did that.
Yeah, and when I say competition, we're not keeping score.
Yeah,
it's just like
so I'd win.
Competition.
I'm just kidding. Just kidding. No, I told you. I think we went to bed last night. What I say? I was like, it's actually funny to ask.
She's like, because so she came over, she like rolled over and she gave me a kiss, and she's like, I just want to let you know. She's like, if today was a competition of like doing things for the other person,
like who wins? No, I just said who wins the day. If that was like a thing, you would have won today. And then guess what? Do you remember what you said back?
What?
You're like, why? You didn't just want me to be saying something to say something. You wanted me to actually explain to you, which I so appreciate. I'm like, I will happily, because I wasn't just saying it to kiss your butt. I was actually like meaning it. And so, I mean, I'll naturally, of course, I want to, and I think that's what's been really huge for me as far as like complimenting each other is feeling safe. Okay, communication. Number one, it has to be, and it's not my strong suit as far as like in a vulnerable, like, what are you feeling kind of way? And not because I'm hiding it, but because like, I don't even know. I'm like, I don't know. I could distract myself from that. And so like to feel safe to like understand what's going on inside my mind and body and brain and inside yours. And to know that we're like, you might know me and I might not know you, but like, I don't even know what's going on with me all the time. So like to have this like safe space of communication where there's no judgment and I might say something that makes him angry and vice versa, whatever, but it's like trust and honesty and like within that space is absolutely like a game changer and not something I've experienced in a relationship.
And also it comes down to just knowing that it's like, we want this to work. Like we like this makes us both happy. Like we've had conversations where it makes us both happy. And I feel like that's why we're able to have such like, I mean, like we're so candid in our conversations. Like there's no, like, we don't have to fluff it. We don't have to worry about it because we know, like, we cover that before we even go into them, that our intention is to work this out and to be good together because we love each other. And so it's like having that be the root of where we start. It just allows for us to be candid and say things without a filter and be like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. And it's like, and when you're able to have that rawness and you're not like beating around the bush, it's like, we're able to be so much more direct in what we feel like we need to do. And like, kind of go from there.
That's so important.
It's like that safe space is really incredible. Like once you do open the doors completely to that, it's just unbelievable how you can say exactly what you think.
Yep.
And there's no
knowing
judgment.
That like love and respect is like the rock, and like, even if you get upset about what was said, like it's still so truthful, and you're like, you might need a second, but like the goal is always we do want to be together, and it's never like, well, then maybe we shouldn't be together. Like no pettiness like that. Like, and that's just not even in our brain. So I think that's definitely where we thrive.
Okay. Well, I want to know next, you kind of touched on it jokingly, but I think this is a good time for Andy to ask his question.
I want to know how you guys fight, the style of fighting,
how you resolve conflict, and who on average says sorry first.
Ooh, great questions. Can you help?
Yeah.
Because I feel like, we could go different. Like we have definitely fought and argued, but it's not like just, I mean, it's nothing to like compare to, like, I'm not like comparing it. Everything's circumstantial and so different than any other relationship that I've witnessed or been in. And same for you, but like, I don't know. We argue. I don't know. Like is it arguing to other people? It might
banter.
Not be.
So we banter quite a bit bicker. Well, no, I feel like it's banter.
I think more so
like
for
right now, this is kind of what we do a lot. It's like, no, I don't think it's that. I think it's this.
But see, that's us just communicating. What's funny is, so Aaron S. from the show, his best friend back in San Diego, we just were actually on FaceTime with him when we could have been knowing the time that this was past. and he's like, you guys bicker all the time. And we were both like, what? Like us? What? And we didn't even realize, like, oh, that's just us having a conversation.
Because we bicker, or we're so used to having like differing opinions on a lot of things, where it's like, you know, we have contrasting views on a lot of stuff. It's like, because we're able to find common ground with those little things, I think that when we end up having arguments and stuff like that, we're so well versed in trying to find a common ground between the two of it, that a lot of times, like, our arguments are solved pretty fast, where it's like, hey, like, this is how I feel.
That's
like,
true.
You know, and it's like, and sometimes it's like, you know, I don't understand why I'm feeling this way, but I'm feeling this way. And I'm just wanting to let you know I'm feeling this way and do with it what you want. But because it's like, we have that consideration where it's like, okay, like, I don't want to make you feel this way. A lot of times we'll try to like adjust and it's like, all you can really do is tell someone if you've been hurt, and it's up to that person to decide whether or not they really want to try to adjust in order to
or even explaining their side of it. I mean, I think we did that like for a moment, like on Sunday too, like we were having a conversation and then I'm like, oh, like, wait, are you actually upset? And I think that's something we do too. Like, since we do kind of like have contrasting views of conversation, whether we're actually having that opinion strongly or not. I was like, wait a minute, hold on. Wait, are you actually upset? And he's like, yeah. And they're like, well, do you know why? Like, let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I'm so glad we're talking about this, because that's not how I meant it at all. Mm-hmm. And so then we get there. And I think, but more than like an argument, something that we have done is there'll be like a span of a few days, which I think this is normal with any kind of relationship, that we're just kind of not on the same page or same wavelength. And he's been, you know, working night shifts here, and sometimes, you know, we'll just be tired, or like, you know, and be a Blakely and lots of things going on to where we're just like not on the same wavelength sometimes. And I think that getting back on track from there is like more of it's work, but I think it's like necessary, but it's not, I think that's more so where we would have our...
That answer, I got to tell you, makes you sound like you've been together a lot longer.
That's what I was going to say. They just cut to like 20 years married, happily married, by the way, happily married.
Good, yeah. Good to find out.
Yeah, you're like the Harry Met Sally, like at the very end of the movie. But that's good.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, Christina. Like, it does sort of feel like a relationship goes through like micro seasons. Like,
absolutely.
Every couple of days you sort of fall out of sync, and then you'll find your way. And sometimes it's just about having a conversation because, you know, you both lead busy lives. And sometimes it's like, oh, it wasn't even a thing. It just sort of like, you know,
just something in the air or energy. Exactly. No, I can tell you know what I mean. Two different people.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. And we're trying to make everything work. And then it's like, okay, well, and something that he's been really adamant about, which I love, is like, we're having like a weekly date night or date day or date something, like whether it, you know, just intentional, like, just us time
together, intentionally, and it's just like
that's
talking
kind
to each
of the
other
thing to get us
it's like
back on track some of the time.
I mean, and it could be like, it was a Preds game, it could be hiking, it could just be like going and grabbing a cup of coffee at a coffee shop and just sitting down and talking to each other, because it's like,
oh, that's why I like you. Yeah. It's like, oh, there you are. It feels like that. It's like, oh, there we are.
Cohabitating. It's like, again, you start taking each other for granted. It's like, you know, you just forget that you haven't spent true time together because you're spending so much time together.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Oh, that's so true. Another thing I have to point out, I just started laughing during your answer just now, because another thing that makes you seem like you've been together for a really long time is how you finish each other's sentences.
Yeah, I was just about to
or
say
like
that.
One of you be mid-sentence, the other one will like dive in and like like give a half sentence, and the other one's like, okay, but I'm going to finish that sentence now, and the other one takes the baton from there.
It's crazy.
It's so funny. Do you guys realize you do that?
Do you see what's happening here?
I did not.
Well, so in like the other podcast, like, because we just kind of recently, we did 2 recently, but that was
How dare you? How dare you pole position
Look,
dear Shandy?
It was a different time. We could have been earlier starting the podcast. But no, so I watched those back, and it is interesting because I do see what you're talking about. And I've actually like been really I should have told you. I need to be better about like, because I'm always like, of course he knows how great he is. But no, like you need to be telling that out loud. And so no, I really do appreciate, because I'll say something and I think a lot of times it can just be like swept over or like, you know, stop interluding or whatever. But I have seen that we both kind of like say it and you're like, oh yeah, thanks for that word. Like that is what it is. And so he even just like will be talking and then incorporate exactly what I just said. So I just feel like, yeah, I'm involved. I'm involved and I'm here, which is really cool to feel like
heard.
Yeah, heard.
You know what? I don't see you two as people who keep things inside.
No.
So I think if you keep doing that, I think you're going to be good.
They also have a similar like mind function speed.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's like, you guys are both going, you know, when like people listen to a podcast, they listen to it like 1.5 speed or whatever. I feel like you guys are both at 1.5 speed. Both of you. You're pointing at her, Brayden. I think you're the same.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know.
Do you ever tell the other person to shut up? Or are you just like, shut up, I want to say something?
No,
Does that ever
actually
happen?
the opposite. There's been one time in particular that I remember. So he was not living here yet, and I was visiting him in San Diego, and we were in the car one morning, and I was just, you know, I wake up some mornings, I'm just on one, I'm just like la 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 la. Oh, cool, a bird. Oh, la 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 la, and I'm just like that, and he's just drinking his coffee. I think we have River in the back going to like a beach or something, and he's just there, and he's just like, and I wasn't even in my head thinking I was being annoying or anything, which I think with other people I would be feeling that way, but with him, he was like, hey, just so you know, I'm enjoying this. Like, I just want you to know. And I was just like, you know, I actually wasn't thinking that you weren't, but now like, actually, thank you so much for saying that. And that I've had like that come back, that memory come back a few different times where I'm like, okay, like, no, he's in a quiet mood, and that's okay. I think that's something too that I really appreciate, because we are like big personalities and we don't keep a lot in, but believe it or not, we have these, you know, moods where we're just quiet. It doesn't mean anything's wrong. It's just, you know, humans are ever changing and different modes and all, you know, don't put anybody in a box, don't put baby in a corner. And yeah, so I think, yeah, I don't know why that was there, but that was
you're just saying I never tell you to shut up. Like, it's like, I'll just be quiet and I'll just look at you and be like enjoying it. And cause it's true. It's like,
he knows I'm really strong. So he wouldn't tell me to shut up.
Okay. So
she's a one-woman show.
That's the thing though, is it's like, I think that's what's so amazing, is because it's like, I've always felt like when I've been in a relationship in the past, like I've had to do so much tending to her, so much like, so much of the carrying. And it's like, it's so cool because it's like, she is such an amazing, like one woman show. Like I can sit there and enjoy her, you know what I mean? And I think that like, that comes into, you know, part of it where like, you know, going back to be content is I don't have that angst in me that I feel like I need to go do something or I need to go and say something. I can just sit there and enjoy everything that she's doing. And she understands that I'm enjoying her and that like I'm appreciating her. And it's like, it's nice. It's really
Also,
nice.
how
And then
sweet
there's
of you
that
to say
mood
it.
actually like flip-flops too sometimes too. And I very much am just like, wow, cool. Like there's another human like me out there. This is great. You're being weird.
You know, you guys are touching on something that I can't believe has never really come up in all of our Love Fests, but I really do believe in this. The idea that you're not in the same mode at that moment. Let's say one of you is at 1.5 speed, the other one's at 1. And one of you is like, talking a lot or just filling the space a lot just because that's the place you're in. And it doesn't bother the other person, even though they're not in that place. And I think that this is actually a huge part of any like cohabitation relationship.
That's often that's where the annoying comes in.
Yes.
So,
Andy talks a lot about.
We talk a lot. I don't know how much
who doesn't annoy you.
Our podcast you listen to, but we talk a lot about how when you find someone who never annoys you, that's probably your life partner.
Okay.
And one of the things that I find in relationships that has given me annoyance, that feeling of annoyance, some people call it ick, but it's really you're just annoyed, is when I'm at one place and they're at another place and they can't appreciate that. And I think that's the way you articulated that is really great. And I think what that really comes down to is that you don't annoy each other.
Yeah.
You don't find that space where one of you's here, one of you's here. You're like, oh, that's annoying.
You just
that's
appreciate
beautiful.
each other.
I love that.
Hey, don't get me wrong. Sometimes she annoys me.
Damn it! Ruined my whole
No,
thesis.
I absolutely love that though. And I think we both touched on like in other times in our life, whether it's in relationships or with family or whoever, like we get kind of told that we're a lot is something that's been told.
Or too much.
Or too much. And so I don't feel that way. And I, where you kind of have to be less. He sees me and he like sees the true core me. And so like from there, we just grow and we grow together and we're different people, but we have that rock and that base of.
And just don't not dimming each other's lights.
Yeah.
It's like you should never be in a relationship where your partner is dimming your light or asking you to dim your light.
How do you know so much at
25?
Are you 25? Wow, you're
I have
growing up
notes.
fast. Right before
Hey,
There was an article yesterday.
Apparently US Weekly said I'm 34. So I mean,
that makes sense. Seriously, how do you know? How are you so wise? And I'm not buttering you up here. I'm not.
No.
This is not a buttering. I felt from the beginning, within 2 episodes of watching you, I felt you were the most Zen cast member I've ever seen on this franchise. And I want to know how the hell you are who you are. What was it? Your parents? Like what happened to you? I'm sorry. You're great too, Christina. I know you come from royalty.
You're like, Christina,
I know all about just this is. I'm having some Brayden time here.
I love this, and I want to hear.
I mean, I don't really know. I don't really consider myself wise. Like I consider myself always wanting to learn and always wanting to seek the truth and always like, I view myself as a seeker. Like when I think about myself in life it's like, I always want to learn and I always want to grow. And I've gotten to experience a lot of things. Like growing up, my dad would always read books with me. And it was like, I grew up as a Christian, but I mean, even growing up as a Christian, he would always have me read. He would always read more than just Christian novels to me. He was allowing me to be exposed to every type of religion, every type of thought process. And he would talk about it with me and we'd have open discussions and do a lot of those stuffs growing up over tea time. And like, we would have like, we'd have monkey picked oolong tea. We had like cast iron tea set with monkey picked oolong and we would pour it over and have tea time every night. And so I grew up in a family where we had a lot of those conversations. And after that, I got to join the military. I got to see a totally different culture of different people from across the country. Getting out of the military, I worked as a nurse. I worked in long-term care and got to see people that lost their memory, Alzheimer's, dementia, and see their families and see how life changes with that. I worked in hospice and for over a year during COVID, worked with patients that were dying and built a lot of relationships with these patients. But I mean,
they couldn't have their families around.
Yeah, they couldn't have their families during COVID. So I mean, everyone was using hospice at the time. And so I mean, I saw a lot of death over the span of a year and a half. And I mean, it affected me a lot. And I mean, it taught me a lot about life. It taught me like a lot about we try to control so much and just letting go and just living life with open hands and like just trusting that, there's a plan and, you have to have that faith that it's going to work out. And so that's kind of just a tidbit of where I've been. But I mean, I recognize that I live a blessed life and I just can't be more grateful.
So did Brayden ever go through a shitty phase? Was there ever like crappy Brayden? Like,
yeah, I mean, I would say, my parents went through a split when I was in high school. It was really hard. I like growing up the way I did and having the relationship I had with my dad and idolizing him the way I did. I mean, because he seemed like the wisest man to me. I mean, he was just like the conversations we had, the open conversations about all this stuff. And there was a period of time where just a lot of family stuff happened. Some things happened with him. And it was just like seeing your idol fall. It just like it shakes your foundation. It shakes your core because it's like my morals and a lot of who I was built off of emulating my dad. And so I think that for that span, it was really hard for me to find myself. And then, going and joining the military, it was like, I think that there's about like a 3-4 year period where I was lost and I was seeking, and it was like, and I was extremely alone and probably the most alone I'd ever been in my life. And just having that loneliness and learning to be alone and learning to like really like seek, like find out who I was during that time period, kind of helped me be more grounded. But during that time period of seeking that, it was very messy. And so I mean, there was a lot of depression that was happening during that time and a lot of demons that I felt like I had to fight like internally. And but I mean, I don't know, I was able to grow from it. And that's the thing, as long as you come into everything with the growth mindset, knowing that there's something that you can learn from it and glean from it, it's like that's the most important thing, I feel like.
Jesus God, if I had this guy's brain at 24,
I know.
what would
right?
I be doing now?
Yeah. Also, the word glean,
Dear Shandy?
such a good
Still
word.
Dear Shandy? Anyway,
Underappreciated word.
I love that word.
It's
a good
great.
word.
You do use it, don't you?
I didn't even realize I used
You
it.
do use it, don't you?
Yeah, you're like,
I'm
clean
so
on me.
embarrassed.
You guys are cute. So, was there an early hurdle in your relationship? I mean, there always is. I want to know what it was and how you overcame it.
You wanna go there?
So there was one of the early hurdles. I think this was one of our first fights. It was the night of the premiere, and I was the premiere of Bachelor in Paradise, and it was hard because it was like at that time it was like I got invited to go watch the premiere with the people from the show, and Christina was back home, and I had just come back home, and there's a lot of insecurities that's surrounded by watching Paradise back, like because it's hard. It's like you're now in a relationship and you're having to watch your partner explore a relationship, and I that day was not very considerate. I didn't necessarily do anything like anything bad.
You did not.
I didn't
Preface
do
with
anything
that.
bad.
You did not
but
do anything
I went
bad
and,
or
I was
wrong.
drinking at the party. It was open bar, and I was drinking, and then I met up with my uncle, and I was just hanging out with my uncle, and like I didn't communicate with her at all, really. Like I had texted her like in the beginning of the night, and I kind of just went off the map. And it was like she ended up calling me at 12 o'clock, and like she had been texting me, and she's like, oh, have fun, like let me know. And then she called me, she's like, hey, like, are you okay? And I'm like, what do you mean? Yeah, I'm totally fine, I'm just hanging out with my uncle. And she's like, well, why haven't you talked to me? And I'm like, I had no idea what you were doing. I had no idea if you were safe. Last time we talked, you were telling me you were getting super drunk, and now here I am, just like,
which is really unlike him. Like, I know that you see the show and like there's always drink in hand, but like that is a very rare occasion for Brayden.
Yeah, I mean, I had a beer today for the first time in like a week.
I know he was like, do you want a beer? I'm like, I wasn't going to, but you're going to. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. We're drinking.
But yeah, so I mean, that was a big one because aligned. It was just realizing it's like you can't, the thing about relationship is it's like, you can't take that time off. Like, it's like, and it was a big learning thing for me because it's like, like I told you guys a little while ago, I was like, I learned how to be alone very well. Like I learned how to not feel like I was having to respond to people or talk to people. Like I could just go into like myself and be isolated and just focus on what I'm doing and who I'm around. And it was just it was that eye opening to be like, consideration is the most important thing in a relationship. And even when you're away from them, even when you're going and doing something, making sure to consider your partner is the most important thing. And even
in the way that they want to be,
in the way that they want to be considered, and even
not the way that you think they need to be considered.
It's like all those love languages are focused around considering your partner in different environments and in different situations. And it's like, so to make her feel comfortable about me going out and me being out, it's like I should have been considering her, even just like texting her a little bit and giving her updates or like giving her a phone call when I could, because there's plenty of times where I could have given her a phone call. But it was like that whole night, I kind of just I went and got drunk and I went out and kind of just wasn't considerate. And
which I will say, like, I mean, this could go, it was, maybe specifically a little bit triggering, just like even that, just as far as like past relationships, but it was way less of that actually. And really just being like genuinely worried and like, I don't know if he's okay or, it's not like him to, first of all, be drinking at all, which was fine. Like, I'm like I said, like, you want a beer? Like, that's great. But just like to be actually like concerned, because I know that's like an emotional thing to be like watching yourself on TV and whatnot. It's completely, and it's crazy for the men, like they're going straight into it. Like from the show, they don't see themselves air on TV yet. Like they go straight into filming for Paradise. And so it's a lot. And so I was just, like I was worried. I also was having an emotional day too. I was like, I had worked in Kentucky that day, which, I live in Nashville, and I had been driving back, and I got like, I ran over a nail and had a flat tire in the middle of nowhere. And so I'm like trying to figure that out. And it was just like, right. And so then I started watching the show in the tire place. And so like, it was this whole thing. And so like, and none of this it's just all like that's nobody's fault and nobody did anything wrong. And like for that was definitely our first hiccup, so to speak. And so and
also part of that too, going on being scared. I was also originally planning on driving back that night.
Oh yeah. That
was another thing she was freaking out about. Like I didn't tell her that I had
had a room. I was just like,
anything like that.
Are you driving?
How are you going home? Like, where are you? Are you okay?
And I'm like, I don't mean to be crazy. It's not like I don't think you're with a woman, but still.
Well, that's the interesting thing. Most of the time in this situation, it would be like you're worried he's with a woman. But this was clearly that you were worried about his well-being.
Well,
and you were like, why wouldn't he tell me?
This is also just such a
and it's such a non-thing.
Like,
this is the weakest hurdle I've ever heard.
It was like a huge one for us though. And it was like kind of great because it had been all like, butterflies and rainbows before, like, content butterflies and rainbows. Like, we still had like the boat experience and like all this weirdness and
the boat would be a hurdle.
I don't think like that though.
The boat is a hurdle because I was really fucked up after that one. I mean, I'm still like,
but that wasn't like an us.
It was though, because you had to cover down and be considerate of me. And I started having I had my first panic attack, and it was like,
fair.
oh wow,
I've never had a moment of like, is this like not good for us thing?
Yeah, that's
it's just an example of like how our relationship's going to be.
I guess, but I mean, for me, it was it was a big test. I mean, and hurdles are tests, and I think it was a big test for me to see how you were someone who I could really consider as being a partner. Like, I mean, I struggled with myself a lot. Like, I've always been a very go get it, active. Like, I have something in mind, I put my mind to it, and I'm not lazy. I don't lay around. And all of a sudden, after the boat accident, I just had this anxiety.
You went to work the next day, and I'm like,
I tried going to work the next day, and it was just I had to leave early because I was I couldn't stay there, and I was so frustrated with myself though mentally, because again, you have this idea of yourself and who you are, and I expected myself to be able to conquer it. I could just go back, I'm alive, I'm fine, be grateful you're alive, suck it up, don't be a wimp. And it's I was getting so angry at myself that my worldview was shattered by this one incident where I was okay, I started having anxiety when I was in public places. I was you have this normalcy bias where you think cars are going to drive straight, people are going to stay in their lane, buildings are going to stay up, people are going to be safe, or they're going to be nice. And it's when a boat sinks on you and you expect that boat to float, that whole thing shatters. You're you're living in a house of cards that's just going to come down with one little push, and nobody's aware of this, and everyone is just fine, and I'm not fine. I was just getting so agitated and angry, and I was so anxious, and she was so there for me, and she would let me talk it out, and she'd let me just really lean on her during that time period. And for me, I mean, that was a big hurdle that, I mean, she might not consider a hurdle, but it was something she had to deal with, where it's I was not myself 100%, and she had to be supportive of me in this new relationship, and she was. So, I mean, that's a big hurdle.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
I was assuming that was going to be the hurdle. I thought that was a layup question, but it was the no texting thing. Anyway.
No, that was really beautiful.
So
both, almost dying, no texting.
Both are pretty big.
So obviously your relationship is a public one. I think we could all agree. And I want to know, what would you say is the most common misconception you've encountered about your relationship?
For me, I would say a lot of people saying, I've seen a lot of comments where people will say stuff like, oh, she needs to do more for me. Those kind of bother me, just because it's she might post, she's better at posting, I think, some of the stuff I do, where it's she'll be quick. I mean, she's done social media and made videos. I suck at making videos. I suck at recording. I never record anything. And so it's a lot of the things that she does for me is unseen, but she does a lot for me. And so when these people are commenting and saying, oh, you should do more, you should make food for him when he gets off a 12-hour shift, no, they can pound sand, because the amount of times I've woken up and she's dropped Blakely off at school and came back and brought me a Starbucks coffee and breakfast, or or done things that were just considerate for me. It's I don't know, those ones bother me, because I'm those, it's just,
don't talk about my woman.
Yeah, well, it's just not the truth. It's just not the truth. It's
and that doesn't bother me.
I mean, it might not bother you, but it bothers me, because I'm hey, that's not the truth, and you're speaking.
But vice versa, it would, if people were saying that, I'm shut up. But yeah, I think for mine easily, and I mean, I really haven't seen much of this, but it would be, people seeing like our woo, like whatever side and just being like, oh gosh, like that just must be like so chaotic and like in a negative way. And just like, oh, they're probably going out all the time and, can't believe they have a kid and all this. And so it's just like, I think the difference between like wild spirit and then wild are like very different.
You can have a wild spirit and still live a disciplined life.
Yeah.
The two don't, like, I don't know.
That's so strange. I feel like
never stop having fun.
America has a very bad read on people.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, like I would never guess. I would think you guys are homebodies. Like I would think that you're like, we should go out more. It's
like we might have
conversation has come up.
Yeah, we might have like a strobe light here, and like there's literally I have my pole fitness like pole right here in the living room, and we might have karaoke parties here and stuff. Actually, I don't know if you guys saw, we have this little dance game. It's been really fun. But yeah, definitely I would say more homebody. So yeah.
Yeah.
But no, yeah.
I think it's cute when someone gets protective of the other person. That's how I get with you. Like when we get like criticism or whatever, and it's about us or whatever, it doesn't bother me. But if it's about him, I'm like, now wait a minute.
Charlene,
Yeah, like
I have it all wrong. Okay, final question, and then we're gonna get to the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any beliefs about relationships that have changed now that you have this one?
Yeah, that they work.
I like that. That's good. Honest.
That's cute, actually.
Wait, the relationships work?
Yeah, I feel it.
Oh, you believe they work now?
I believe it now. I think there's a lot of times
I
where
thought it was sarcasm. I thought I heard sarcasm, so I was like, oh yeah, that they work.
Oh, no.
Like that was her belief that changed. I was like,
you just don't understand me.
I was about to get so offended. I was like, damn.
No. But like, yeah, like I'm actually feeling it. And that's the whole, like, when you know thing. And I've, you hear people say that. And I think, there's so many cliches that people just throw around, but cliches become, sayings
Cliches
for a reason initially. Yeah, exactly. And so I think that whole thing it's so, so different than like, asking yourself, like, do I know this is the one? Or just like full body, like undeniable, like knowing it. And so I think like just everything that comes with that, just like, and I mean, personally, I just think like thinking that I can have a genuine relationship where I can actually not have to dim the light. I think that goes back to the dimming light thing of which is really cool. Not to say I'm some bright like light or anything, but that I can genuinely be myself knowing myself, sure, but also not knowing who I'm going to be, in the future, because I think we're ever changing. And I think that, I would be, I don't even know if I was actually limited before, but like feeling like I'm limited and unable to grow because, what if that person won't love me if I, change? So, yeah.
That's beautiful.
That's lovely.
For me, it's basically just like, I feel like that I learned that not all relationships are restrictive and not all relationships cause you to takes away from who you are. And a lot of, and this one, it adds to everything, and it's pretty amazing. So I feel like I could be anywhere in the world and be happy. I mean, I never in my life, if you asked me if I would have ever left San Diego before, I would have never left San Diego before.
Yeah,
and
poor guy. He moved here and it was like snowstorm right away. And I was working in Florida. I'm like, peace out.
It was I mean, I found someone that was worth moving and leaving that type of lifestyle behind.
That's a big deal.
That's beautiful. Amazing. Okay, it is now time for the Dear Shandy Newlyweds Game. Yay! You guys were hysterical, as people probably can imagine, writing your answers down. I'm on the edge of my seat.
I'm not feeling confident. I'm going to preface with that.
Okay.
I'm also not feeling confident in you. And I usually predict the score here.
I don't think you felt confident in me this entire discussion. Just Brayden.
I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding. I'm only messing with you. I'm sorry. You absolutely was the correct read. Yes.
It's not that. It's just that I have history with Brayden and
you're like, it's not you. It's just he's great.
I'm sorry. We go way back. So I'm gonna go with a confident 3-2 Brayden.
Oh, 3-2. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, we'll see what happens.
Are you willing to bet on it?
I'm betting. I mean, thousands of people will judge me if I'm wrong.
With strong opinions.
But just so you know, Christina, if it makes you feel better, Andy is only right about half the time with his predictions.
Not sure why that would make her feel better or worse, but thank you.
Okay, I'm just neutral about it, but I like it because she is trying. I feel better about the fact that you tried to make me feel better. So thank you. And also, I know that I will not win this, and I wish that wasn't the case.
I honestly,
but we're a team.
I don't take it personal because I just have a better memory than she does.
That's true.
It's confidence. You know what? There's no losing in this game because it just means the other person knows you so well.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
Oh.
Actually, I have one last thing to say. I just realized, sorry. I realized that the winner of the game is actually the loser.
Yeah.
Because that means that they are known less than the other person.
100%. I have long felt this way.
All right.
I know that I would win this game, which would mean that I would lose this game.
Charlene,
Wait, have y'all played it?
No, but I know that I would win.
And it's upsetting.
Yeah.
I feel
Can we
like
tune
I'm
in
not
for a
pulling
part 2 where we have questions for you guys?
I'm down.
I mean, if you sure.
I want to put my money where my mouth is, finally.
I mean, I know you're going to win. It's very
better
upsetting.
study.
Okay.
All right.
We're going to start, Christina, with you, meaning Brayden. This is your point to win or lose. Christina, what is your least favorite food?
I have really bad handwriting.
That's
I
okay.
will preface with that. My answer is gonna be hated across this video. I'm sorry, but cheese and bread.
What in the hell is going on there?
Cheese and
She said
bread.
the pen sucked.
I
the
changed.
pen.
I changed the pin on the next one. Cheese and bread.
Okay, cheese and bread.
Cheese and bread?
So just any cheese and any bread.
Yeah, she hates bread.
What you write?
You hate
no, wait.
bread?
Wait,
I don't hate. It's just like an easy, like that's a known.
She hates bread. Like,
wait, I don't. So
I
you
will
hate
make-
bread?
She doesn't like tortillas. She doesn't like pasta.
No, it's not even that. It's just I prefer like a sandwich with lettuce.
Mhm. Or pasta with like cauliflower
I don't
noodles
know.
or something.
Okay, so let's say
I don't know if I could butter you up after this. I think it's over.
Oh,
Wait, and let's say
there's no bread to butter.
All right, let's see. Brayden, did you get that?
I said bread and then I said cheesy pasta.
Oh, he gets
that's-
it. 100% gets that. He definitely
Ding.
gets that. Ding.
Nice.
Very good.
So let's see if she remembers this one.
I'm a little caught up on the cheese and bread. Like, is it?
I'm sorry.
You know, you don't like them like individually or just
I just
together?
prefer things without it, but I'll eat it because it's on things.
So a grilled cheese is your least favorite food.
I don't want that.
Okay.
No.
So
I
you
wish I
do
didn't like
realize
that.
that you are in the bottom 0.0001% of human race.
I'm gonna
on
be the.
What do you mean? I love bread and I love
No,
cheese.
I'm talking about you. We're talking about Christina
her.
right now.
Yeah, no,
He
she.
would never have thought that of you.
Okay.
He knows. He knows.
Say,
I know
honestly,
better.
it was almost a deal breaker in the beginning of our relationship. But then what I ended up realizing
You
is
get
that
more.
when we went to dinner to places that had like the bread appetizers, I just got to eat all the bread with all the butter.
Yeah.
So it actually
But you can
turned out
get
to be-
more. You can get more bread at the
Oh
restaurant.
yeah, and they don't judge me because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm sharing this bread with my fiance. In reality, I'm eating all the bread. Like,
Wow. All right. So
like
no pizza.
3-4
No
orders.
pizza. No pizza in the
Well,
relationship.
no. So like I'll do it, but it must have pineapple on it.
Oh my!
Oh,
You monster.
The New Yorker is offended right now.
I'm so sorry, but it's me. I'm being myself.
Okay. All right. Brayden, how about you? What is your least favorite food?
fried onions or onion rings. They give me headaches.
Oh.
That's wait. You should let's judge him now.
I
No,
told you that.
No.
No,
I respect
you
that
never
answer.
told me that. You did not tell me that. You did tell me something, and I knew this wasn't going to be the answer, but you did tell me this, and then you had it the other day, so I feel like you might be a phony. But I always said mayonnaise.
No.
I know you used it the other day, but I feel like you used to hate it.
No,
I'm
I said
sorry.
that my little cousin hates mayonnaise and he's allergic to it. And I took him to, I told you that story about how he had a stomach ache.
Aiden?
No, Aiden.
Oh my God.
Well, I listened to
amazing.
that.
I heard a story.
I heard a story.
Okay, so
Heard a
number
story
one,
involving
ridiculous.
mayonnaise.
Number two, that's the first time someone's used a condiment as an answer to this question. All right.
All right. I'm sorry, Christina. The score right now is 1-0.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
I know I got this one wrong too.
Question number 2, Christina. If you could only listen to one musician, band, or composer for the rest of your life, who would it be?
Tenacious D.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Wow, that's strong.
Are you feeling?
this is bullshit.
Oh,
Let's see what you put, Brayden.
What did you put?
Let us all see.
Nickelback or Creed?
Oh, that would have been a good answer too. That would have been next.
I remember now. She had that
next.
Nickelback. She mentioned Nickelback on that one-on-one date. It's
I
coming
did,
back
and
to
they
me.
ended up having
feel
me
like she
to the
said Tenacious
concerts, and like
D.
I've been friends with them, and Chad and his girlfriend, they're great. Like, yeah, we keep up, and it's been a really cool thing for me. And so I'm so sorry.
I
But
thought she put
D,
Tenacious
that's
D
like,
because she was trying to be cute because that's how we started dating. And I know she loves Tenacious D, but I wouldn't say that that's the artist that she would listen to forever.
You know what?
If
I
it
think
was-
this is a half-point situation.
I give him a half point for that.
Is it no?
That's fine.
No? Are we not doing that? What do you think?
It
mean,
would
he
definitely
can
have
get-
been like, yeah.
That's fine.
He
I'll
gets
get the other ones.
He gets a whisper of a half point.
Okay, no half point.
Meaning, if there's another whisper, then he can
That was a
get
good,
something.
good answer. Good answer.
No, he. I feel he was sabotaged.
It's just sabotage.
Yeah, but
I think
I hate this podcast.
Can we go -1 on Christina? Or is that ever been done before?
okay, Brayden, you can only listen to one musician, band, or composer for the rest of your life, and you say Post Malone.
Oh, you must
what?
have
Oh, okay, not what
Oh,
Christina
whoa.
was
Not
expecting.
Toby Mac.
Toby Mac. Oh,
Oh no, is this?
I feel like there's an inside
I
joke.
I literally
It's
played
not.
him one time in the car the other day, and all of a sudden, like,
You knew all the words in memory.
it was like a guy I used to listen to when I was like 5.
Okay, well, I didn't even know you
Wow.
liked Post Malone.
Well, glad we sorted this out.
All right, so we're still.
This is the downfall of
Yeah,
us.
you guys. I thought you guys were gonna last. I don't know.
Okay. Christina, when you were a child, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Same as now, actor.
Okay. Actor. Brayden, did you get that?
Nice.
Actor. Oh, what a nice, clean point.
Bonus point for not saying actress as well.
Yes.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Indeed. Brayden, when you were a child, what did you want to be when you grew up? A doctor.
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
she got it.
We got it. We're on the board.
I
Very
jumped
nice.
the gun and sang that. Yeah.
Very nice. Okay, so 2-1.
2-1.
Okay, this is getting interesting. Question number 4, Christina. What is your biggest peeve? And we agreed all around that it would be about each other. So your biggest peeve about Brayden,
This is very bold, by the way. Very few people choose this route.
especially such a young couple.
Well, okay, he leaves the lights on, and it's not just the toilet seat of like the women thing. I want all the toilet seat like closed, because like I'll like drop things in it.
Yeah.
So like but he doesn't remember that, and he leaves the lights on.
Okay.
Both things that I like, it's not a huge deal, whatever, but like that's what I'm gonna say.
Okay, so just for our listeners who cannot see what she's written, it's that he leaves the lights on and does not
No,
close.
lights off.
No, he leaves them on. I've said it weird.
Oh,
Minus a point for me, but deduct 300 points. But yeah, he forgets to leave. He forgets to turn the lights off, is what I meant.
in the bathroom.
And he anywhere all the time, and he
leaves the toilet
doesn't
seat and cover
close
up.
the toilet.
No, not the seat. I put the seat down. I grew up with sisters. I always put the seat
I want him
down.
to close the
But he
whole
wants me to close
thing
the
because
lid.
I keep like dropping the hair.
What do you
I'm
do that?
sorry. I
Which is a
know
lot. I mean, it's just
it's a lot. No,
That's
I don't blame
overkill.
it, but
It's
I just- but
overkill.
it's-
You don't have guests
it's one of
coming
those
over.
moments.
Okay.
Oh,
he
nice.
got toilet lid down. I
That's
mean,
good.
he gets that.
That's a point that counts.
He gets that point. Very
I mean,
good.
she gets on my back for it. She's like, "Can you put the lid down?" I'm like, "That's so."
But I'm not,
weird."
I'm like, I realize this is a weird request, but I'm being vulnerable. I'm telling you something.
I totally get it.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
in the bathroom. All your cosmetics are there, and then it falls in the toilet, and you're like,
Honestly, I think it's a wash. It's like nice to go into the bathroom knowing you don't have to lift the seat. If you really have to go fast, you're like, you're in
how
a rush.
fast do you have
Emergency, like a big emergency.
Okay, imagine this. Okay, so you went out to dinner. Your stomach hurts. What are the last things you really want to do coming to the bathroom? Turn the light on. Put the toilet seat up.
See, this man's a genius.
See, I like to be prepared for the worst case scenario. Make sure that she's taken care of. She doesn't have an accident. You know.
Can I
An
tell you?
accident? He's just really looking out to make sure I don't have an accident.
I'm telling you right now that I came home really drunk a while back, and I sat down and I pissed right on the toilet seat all over myself.
Oh, the cover. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I had closed it.
Yeah, and I was like, "Why did you do that?
No,
you never."
that's not her
That's
fault.
not my fault.
Not
He
her
couldn't
fault.
see. He
Great
couldn't see.
story.
I couldn't see
love
anything.
it.
I didn't turn the light on. I just went in there and I did.
Okay, and if it would have been you and Brayden together, no problem.
You want to move in together?
This is foreshadowing.
Backup plan.
What is this? All right, I like that. That's good. Good story.
Okay, Brayden, what is your biggest peeve about Christina? He
What
wrote,
is this?
singing along to every song all the time.
That is annoying. Christina,
Wait, so what? Singing along
you
to what?
can't do that.
Every song all the time. Is that why you showed me all these new songs that I've never heard? So that's why we listen to Toby Mac.
That's why you don't know who his favorite artist is, because he can't play his.
Listen to it.
Oh
So
my-
she
I
can
love
ruin
her.
it for him.
I love her so much, but it's so cute because she'll get in these moods where she wants to sing to every song. So it's like, she's like, can I play something that I know so I can sing? And I'll be like, no. And I'll play a rap
like-
song. And then all of a sudden she's freestyling over top of the rap lyrics. I'm like,
Wow.
He's like, you gotta stop.
Wow.
That is so cute.
That is
She
cute.
needs to sing.
She needs to sing. You
She
should just play
needs to
classical music
sing.
all day.
Well, the whole like talking and being vulnerable about feelings and stuff, that's all new to me, but music's always been there and I know every word to every song ever. Almost, except to be Matt. So that's not what I said.
Okay.
And I didn't know that. And so I went and I said, scheduling and remembering dates and times to things. So I'm going to cover the bottom half.
Scheduling, being consistent, and remembering dates and times.
oh my God.
Okay, well, we are at 3-1. Brayden is running away with this now. Christina,
This
I
one
believe
is
in you.
worth triple the points, maybe.
Christina, it's your last meal on earth. What do you order?
So this is something I said the other day. So if he doesn't remember this, he should. But I was like just guessing on his. So I'm going to just preface with that. But it was a weird answer, but I'll fill you guys in. And I said, my last meal ever. I'm like, it's going to be my last meal, whatever. I'm not going to be human long. But, there's a lot
long
here.
answer.
No, I'm just like, it is a long answer. And I said, I would have Blakely, my daughter, make me a meal. And I would tell her to make me a meal to help distract her from her mommy being unalived. And then he gets a bonus point if he mentions what I say. And I said it, and he was like, wow, that was really sweet. Like, okay,
Wait,
cool.
let me just answer then because I remember her
Okay,
best
cool.
words.
Okay.
Wait. Can we see your answer? I'm very confused.
Okay, don't look at the back.
I literally don't know what you
covering-
just said.
Yeah.
I'm covering the back so that he doesn't see the answer.
Okay.
So the back
So
bonus point.
her answer is
you read
Blakely. Yeah, Blakely,
Okay.
make my meal to help distract her from her mommy being.
Unalived.
Unalive frowny face.
Wow, that is extremely in the moment.
Wow.
I respect the commitment to
Yeah.
the scenario.
These are the kind of things that I randomly blurt out while he's not talking to me.
Okay, let's see what he put.
Oh my
What'd you put?
God.
He wrote any meal
you
that
remember.
Blakely cooks for her. Oh,
That
he
was
gets that
good. You
point.
definitely
That's
win.
amazing.
That's
And
so.
she
And then
would
the bonus
critique, but the
point
thing
if you wanna
was-
say it.
The thing was what she said she would say afterward is she would critique the food after it's cooked.
Oh,
But wait, what I
Why?
said, because I couldn't remember exactly what I
You said
said.
something
I
like-
said something and it wasn't nice, but what I
was-
wrote now was
Originally,
nice.
she would say, "This tastes like shit."
No, that's not what I said. It was some kind of pun. That's why I couldn't remember.
Like,
I
oh, wait,
wrote
no,
on
this
there.
food's to die for. Yeah.
Yes, which is
Food's-
I said bonus
Oh.
point. My last words could be, "This food is to die for," and then
oh, wow.
Wow.
You really took this very literally. I respect that.
I
Yeah.
think too much about everything, you guys.
You
It
know what's
hurts.
funny is it only just now occurred to me that we did word it like your last meal on earth, like you're
Well,
gonna
that's why
die. Like
it's
I
a-
didn't put it
it's an
together, and I
execution
didn't know
situation.
why the unalive part was there.
Oh, you thought it was just,
Well, I just,
what,
I
you
was
thought you
I'm
you just
picturing that I
decided to
made a-
stop eating? Like
I'm
that
on
was it?
death row. And
I was more
Yeah,
focused
it's
on the
death
food.
row.
I was focused on the food. But that's very sweet.
What
What
was
a
the
sweet
scenario
answer.
where you were having a
Yeah.
last meal without being executed?
I'm just trying to moderate this very hectic Newlyweds Game.
I
okay?
envy your brain because I overthink everything and I'm like, this is what I did. This was my crime. And and so for you, I love that. That's just I want that more for
And
me.
then for my last meal,
What'd
very
you
simple.
put?
Lobster.
I mean, that's a good. that's
Just
a good last
lobster.
meal.
Where's my thing?
Prepared in any
My-
way.
Look, I put bonus things because you said meal, but the very first thing is in fact lobster.
Oh, okay.
Five,
Okay, I put lobster.
Okay,
with
that
steak,
counts.
Ice cream, mint chocolate chip, and then bread and cheese.
That's actually fair.
I mean, that seems like
we are definitely giving her that for Lobster.
absolutely.
Unfortunately, Christina, Brayden wins this. 4-2. Congratulations, Brayden.
As long as you were wrong about the score. And also, we're a team, so we both win.
Well, technically, I did even better than he thought I was going to do.
Yeah, they don't. So.
Oh, I know. You guys can exchange numbers.
Later.
But Christina really wins because she's known so well.
That's right.
I definitely win. No, that is great to be able to freely tell you these things that are hopping in my mind about, death row meals, about last words and whatever is great. And
Honestly,
the fact that you knew it, that he listened. It wasn't just like, yeah, cool. He listened. That was great. Which is
very
probably
cute.
why,
You're right. We didn't give that answer enough attention. That was unbelievably cute.
It was unbelievable.
Yes.
What's y'all's advice though? You guys have been together 10 years. What is your advice as far as like when we, in the future, like listening to music? Cause I could tell that you understood that it does like me. It's, if you're singing along and we're in the car, it is meaningful. So should I just not sing or what do we do there?
No, you should never dim your light, Christina. You sing like a bird.
Maybe shut off the light off and on. Shut it off, then full light.
But maybe he was doing it purposely where he was just playing songs I didn't know. Maybe I will not freestyle and ad lib to the songs I don't know anymore.
Why don't you just go every other song? You say, I know this song, but I'm not singing. Next song, I'm singing.
Before we wrap, I have a question about Brayden's rapping. Like, does he rap around the house?
Oh, this guy, you want him to do a little freestyle? He'll do it.
I will do freestyles.
We were discussing
play the guitar?
Because during one of your freestyles, I was like, there's no way he didn't prepare that. And Andy was like, no,
give him 3 words.
Freestyle.
Give him 3 words now, random ones. Give him a beat. He's got this. It's crazy.
All right. I'll do the beat. I'll do the beat, and I'm gonna give you.
You can beatbox.
I'm gonna beatbox.
He's decent.
Oh my god.
Okay. So we're gonna go. We're gonna go. Love, woman, kill.
Heck yes.
Okay.
All right. Ready?
Shit. Yeah. Pray to God up above. Sitting down here, Lord, give me some love. Pray to God he brings in my life just a woman. I'm all by myself, you know what? But I'm human. Yo, I try every day. Yo, I go for the thrills. I'm just sitting here every day, question for the kill. I gotta make that money, but you know what? Yo, it kills. I just sit by myself and I pray, take that pill. Oh my goodness, life, it can go and be so hard. Now I'm ad-libbing because you know that I'm a star. I just say this beat, it turns out really hard. I'm trying just to rap, but it's just delayed on my part. Like, oh dang.
Wow. It is a little delayed here, so that was impressive.
Sorry.
Can you hear it? It's a little bit when we talk, it dims the light of your beatboxing, which it was great, but it was like making it quiet. So that was even more impressive. So give him a little extra credit.
Spectacular.
Tremendous talent. That's serious. Like you should do something with this. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
He's really talented.
He keeps telling me to do that, but it's just, I've always just done it for fun. I've never really thought I could write down or rap or anyone to really like my rap.
But another huge compliment and about everything. And this is, funny little like comparison with the rapping of just us being like on the spot. Yeah, whatever. But he does that. Like, it's been really something I admire and need to get more of personally in life. And Blakely, want her, it's rub off on her, but like he is who he is. And he's like, just vulnerable enough to do anything, anytime, anywhere. And I mean, just bring what he has to the table, whether that means like, I'm not downing you in anything, but like you're vulnerable enough to like try new things in front of people and just like, this is me. I don't know. Like, and you're not, I don't know, you're really true in yourself. And like with the rapping, like, I feel like, especially like if you sing or something like that, everyone's like, sing then. And that's kind of awkward. And I mean, I'm not judging anyone that wouldn't do it just then, because that's kind of weird. But like to just be like, all right, cool. Like if I mess up, I mess up. So what? Like I'm doing it. It's fun. So I just think that's really cool.
I completely understand what you're saying.
It's hard. That's like, so like he does that with everything in life. And I'm just like, yeah, why not just do things? Like, yeah.
It's
why
so
not just
fearless. Yeah.
It's cool.
Come on, get that Mandrell juice behind him. Let's get something going.
No, this is what we were talking about this. I'm like, all right, we're starting a band.
We would buy your album.
Yes.
And we don't buy many albums these days.
That's one sold. That's one sold. One sold.
Yeah. I'm done. I'm doing it.
You guys, what a fabulous,
tremendous,
wonderfully chaotic love fest. I loved every second of it. Thank you so much for carving out the time and spending 2 hours with us, really. Thank you.
Thank you so
course.
much.
Thank you for having us.
We had
this is
so
great.
much fun.
We've got our therapy session after this, so this is a good little break in between. We're going to have to be like, he doesn't want me to sing in the car anymore. So this will be good to talk about.
There's so much material now. Yeah. Thank you so much.
I really hope our paths cross one day in New York or in Nashville.
Yeah, if you're ever in the
one of these
city,
days.
coming by, let us know.
My sister just moved out, so I'll be going out there.
Really? Do not forget.
I won't.
Hit us up.
And then
Let
vice
us know.
versa.
For sure.
Yes.
Vice versa.
Definitely.
100%.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Have a great
Okay.
night. Have
Thank
fun at
you.
the
Bye, y'all.
Thank you guys.
See ya.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, I had high expectations. They were exceeded.
Exceeded.
That was really fun.
I was hoping, I was thinking to myself, I was like, is it possible that maybe I had it all wrong?
Oh.
Maybe they suck. But no.
No.
Exceeded.
Yes.
Exceeded.
High expectations.
Very high.
Really.
Too high.
God, they're cute together, aren't they?
Yeah, they're great.
They seem both like a really new couple, like newlyweds couple, and a couple that's been together for like 50 years.
Oh, completely. And I have to add, I know this is completely non sequitur, but her aunt, Barbara Mandrell, was on the actual Newlyweds
Oh, yeah,
Game.
she mentioned this. So we turn off the cameras when they're filling out their answers, and then she mentioned this, and it was such a cute tidbit.
Yeah.
We were blown away by that. And then we're like, mention it when we start rolling again, and then we all forgot.
I like the way like Barbara Mandrell, like, oh yeah, Barbara Mandrell was on the Newlyweds Game. Like that's her big claim to fame.
right?
But
That's
still,
super cool.
fun tidbit.
Oh, I mean, I was excited by that. They are adorable.
Adorable.
I
Unbelievable.
love
Just adorable.
how they finish each other's. I don't even want to say they finish each other's sentences. They just sort of like take the baton from each other mid-sentence, and then, but they always end up in the same place.
Yeah.
It's like he's saying something and she's like, and then blah, blah, blah. And then he takes it back and blah, blah, blah. And then she takes it back. And the message is right for them. It's super cute.
It's lively banter. It's constant lively banter.
Was thinking while we were talking to them that there must never be a dull moment in that household.
Except when Brayden decided to just step back and enjoy without speaking.
How cute was that when he said that?
That was great.
He, in that moment when he was quiet and she was being a chatterbox, he was like, I just want to let you know I love this right now. Like the fact that he would just come out and say that, the effusiveness in that, there's no holding anything back from each other. It seems like, and that ability, the ability for one person to be talking or in that mood and the other one not.
Yeah.
Some people cannot be with someone who's not in the exact same state of mind that they are in.
There's a very open channel.
Yes.
Extremely open.
Oh, extremely
Open. Flowing.
Can we talk about his freestyle? That's unbelievable.
It's incredible.
A real
He's
talent.
really talented.
He really should do something with that.
Seriously, it's just coincidence that he's in a musical family. Leverage it. Let's do it. Let's join forces.
It's also just a coincidence that he happened to be on TV and we all know who he is.
Yeah.
Like it's not like he was on TV because of that talent. That is an exceptional talent.
Yes. And he's got a nice voice too.
Yeah.
It's different. Some people can do freestyle, but their voice isn't nice.
I cannot believe he did that just now. Like I doubted him.
I felt intimidated. Like I was like, am I beatboxing good enough for this guy? I don't think I'm worthy of this guy.
I felt you not committing as much as
I
you
wasn't
should.
fully committing. I wanted to do some tricks and I was just like, I just stay the course, keep the beat right.
Do him justice.
Yeah.
From your perspective, Andy, is the bromance as alive as it ever was?
Bromance is strong. I think he's coming hot on Thomas's heels.
Oh.
No, that's not fair. That's not fair.
Thomas
That's
might
not
get
fair.
wind of this.
That's not fair.
How dare you?
That's not fair. This is a tryst. Thomas is at home cooking a meal for me, and I'm out philandering with Brayden. This is wrong.
Well, also Thomas and Becca have not come on yet.
That's true. That's true.
Yes. So maybe it's Thomas's fault.
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it is.
No, they've said that they would. It just has to be in person. They said.
Okay. Well.
Well, this is what happens. Okay, I think we can wrap there. They were adorable. Yes. If you enjoyed what you heard today, you know what we will ask of you, and that is to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow us on Instagram, and
TikTok.
Leave us Apple and
Spotify
podcast ratings and reviews. Tell your friends, and generally do all the things you would do to support a podcast you enjoy. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Dear Shandy. Bye-bye.